Welcome back to Ben Rants. And when I was a kid, people didn't get their honest opinions from internet memes. Howdy, y'all! It's been a while. In case you haven't noticed, there hasn't been much of a peep from me recently. I was the guy who ranted on all those cartoons coming out that didn't really deserve it. However, I've been really impressed with the quality output of cartoons coming out in recent years. There's really not much to complain about from what I've seen, for the most part. So I'm putting my focus on something that matters. The kind of topic that everyone should be talking about, and doing everything in their power to fight against. No, don't even think about clicking off this video. I don't care if it's political related. This is the kind of crap y'all need to hear. Did you know that one of the two major parties in the United States has their plan to turn America into a dictatorship just out in the open for anybody to read? Ain't that nice of them? It's over 900 pages long, so I wouldn't recommend reading all of it unless you're cruising for a refill on your blood pressure medicine. Get ready to be the Nazi fighters of this generation. This is my rant on Project 2025. As a warm-up, Project 2025 is a plan created by the Heritage Foundation. What's the Heritage Foundation, I hear you ask in my head? Well, it's a non-profit conservative think tank who have played a part in laying out the policies for every Republican president since the 80s. Well, the leader of the party is now a racist, child racist, fraudster, pants-shitting, washed-up celebrity fascist con man like Donald Trump, whose last action before he left office was this. Because they ultimately embrace the downfall of decency and respect in the Red Elephant Party, this group of old-ass rich white dudes has decided, screw it, and are openly embracing a fascist takeover of America. They're so confident in themselves that they're just leaving it up in the open web for anybody to read. Do they think the American people don't read, or they just don't care? Well, I'm not gonna shut up about this until y'all start caring. You might be wondering, how are they gonna do this to America? We're a constitutional democratic republic. Surely that will prevent us from falling into fascism. Yeah, you would think, my little innocent ones. But then you remember Germany was a democracy before the Third Reich took over. And that didn't happen overnight. So let's take a dive into this guideline of authoritarianism and learn just how evil these tax breaks craving ghouls are. Let's start with one to draw you in. Like jerking off to Angela White videos in the privacy of your own home? Well, enjoy it while you can, because they want to take that away from you. Yep, Project 2025 is dead set on banning pornography, despite the fact it falls under the First Amendment protections. But hey, you can make up whatever laws you want when the Supreme Court agrees with you, right? Oh, and it ain't gonna stop there. They're gonna put people who produce porn in jail. Yep, Playboy, Hustler, Penthouse, Brazzers, Pornhub, even all the subreddits and 4chan boards y'all lurk on to find the really niche stuff is at risk of being incarcerated. All those OnlyFans models are gonna be put in jail for doing nothing other than making money off their own bodies, like the bosses they are. Hell, I don't even think artwork is gonna be safe, meaning lewd artists are at risk too. Say what you want about sex workers and lewd entertainment, I'm pretty sure we as Americans can all agree we don't want to see people in jail just for producing sexual content, right? Right? And if you think I'm kidding, there are some roomy red states already passing laws that require ID to go on porn sites. Screw you. I shouldn't need a damn driver's license to get my daily dose of anal videos.
And if the perpetrators are listening, I have only this to say. It's not funny, man. Give us back our porn.
Hey, you nuclear family-obsessed weirdos. I'm a tax-paying citizen. You keep your dirty hands off my bareback gay videos. I mean my anal videos. But to those cynics out there who think it's just the pervs and the whores who are gonna be affected, there's more rights to be violated in this 900-page Putin fanfiction. Because the demons who wrote this consider people like me a sexual fetish and not a human being, the branch off of their crusade against porn stems from their hatred of the LGBTQ plus community. Of course they want to come after us too, because they're religious nuts who use their faith as an excuse to be a dick to people and not, following the love-filled, peaceful lifestyle their Lord and Savior preached in the damn Bible they love shoving down everyone else's throats. Basically, besides the usual wanting to roll back the rights of queer folk who have fought and died for decades to receive, such as marriage equality and discrimination protections, they want to especially go after trans people and deem their existence as a fetish and not, being freaking human beings. I just don't get why the hatred towards trans people has gotten so nasty in recent years. Well, okay, I do, because people are bigots stuck in the past, but they just want to live their lives in peace. They're not trying to rape women. They're not trying to turn kids communist or whatever. They're just people. I've known and met trans people and have trans and non-binary friends. Even my sheltered country has learned to accept them easily, so why is it so hard for everyone else? I love how nobody knew what pronouns were 10 years ago. Now all of a sudden people think they're the downfall of Western civilization. And protect trans kids as well. Yes, trans kids are a thing. If kids are able to know who they're attracted to in their young ages, then they are more than capable of understanding what gender they are too. Kids are smarter than society, and especially these cuckoo conservatives think. But you're supporting the mutilation of children! No, I'm not, you psycho. I'm supporting the healthcare decisions being between a kid, their parents, and a doctor. Not the dagnab government, the dagnab church. I would think the small government types would agree with that. And, as if making queer lives more miserable isn't enough for these freaks, they have nostalgia for a time period they weren't alive during and want to bring back the good old-fashioned family values. This means discouraging single parents, promoting motherhood and fatherhood, and promoting the nuclear family with a bunch of snot-nosed brats running around the neighborhood, possibly holding guns, I'm sure. That's right, they want every American household to be a traditional white family where women stay at home and provide for the kids, and don't you dare think of divorcing your husband if you're unhappy and feel shackled, ladies. This one especially sucks for me because I ain't married and I'm never planning on having kids. Why? Because I'm a dagnab adult and an American citizen. It's my choice with what I want to do with my life. Just like it's the choice of trad wives who want to be dominated and possibly beaten by their trad husbands. Sure, if some of y'all want to live that life, more power to you. But that's not the kind of crap you should be forcing on all of us. It's also ironic these people want to blame the death of the traditional family on stuff like porn, yet they never stop and think maybe people ain't having kids because we can't afford shit anymore! Thanks for years of fighting wage increases, union busting, and giving tax breaks to the ultra-wealthy, you dickheads! Speaking of parenthood, they'll strip every last possible thing you can use to prevent yourself from having kids. Contraception? Hell no. They'll get rid of that. Condoms? Might want to sell your Trojan stocks. I don't see a bright future for them. Oh, and the big one of them all, abortion. The right has been fighting decades trying to roll back abortion rights, and they finally had the Supreme Court do so in 2022. They ain't gonna stop there, though. They're gonna keep fighting till every last state can no longer offer abortions. And exceptions? What the hell are those? This is the pro-life crowd. They want every baby born, whether they're from 10-year-old girl who was, wait, what? Yeah, did y'all hear this story? A 10-year-old girl in Ohio, the Florida of the Midwest, was, violated, got pregnant, and was denied an abortion in the state. Let me repeat that. This is a 10-year-old girl. She had a traumatic experience she didn't ask for, and the pissing on the wound was these demonic politicians looking at her and saying, this is a blessing in disguise. No! No, it ain't, you sickos! This is an innocent little girl whose life is forever affected by such a disgusting act. And y'all want her to have a kid that acts as an unhealing wound of that experience? Yeah, wouldn't that be a fun family story? Hey, Tommy, did I ever tell you the time your dad raped me when I was 10 years old? Thankfully, she managed to get the operation she needed. But want to guess who the pro-life crowd attacked in this whole thing? The doctor, of course. Like I said, ghouls. It just baffles me that the same people who think kids are gonna be scarred for life by saying lose an enemy kiss an owl house will turn around and claim it's perfectly okay for a 10-year-old girl to raise a baby of someone who raped her! Like, what the actual fuck is wrong with people? Hey, remember how Trump got a bunch of people to vote for him due to his non-stop demonizing of immigrants, despite the fact the guy profited off the work of migrants for years? Well, we will see the biggest deportation of people ever in the United States if he wins again. Project 2025 is calling for the rounding up of every undocumented immigrant in the country, boasting as much as 10 million people could be sent to camps. Yes, camps. Camps of a specific group of people all concentrated in designated areas. Where have I heard that before? And in case you groan at me making comparisons of Trump to Hitler, don't take my word for it. Trump has been boasting about this plan in all of his recent speeches, even saying immigrants are poisoning the blood of this nation. Gee, haven't heard that before either! It's pretty wild how people just started ignoring everything this guy has said lately, almost as if that's by design. Okay, we can argue about the legality of people crossing the border and coming over here without filling out all the paperwork, but I'm of the opinion that as long as people are coming over here wanting a better life and want to work to contribute to our society and culture, I think that's a great thing. Why wouldn't we want to welcome people who love our country enough to move here? But we can't afford to take care of all these people. Bullshit. If we can afford to pay dumbasses like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lowen Borbert to work in Congress, we can afford a few extra immigrants getting on their feet so they can get settled in here. And several people, including me, are thinking they're not going to stop at just undocumented immigrants. They'll round up anybody who they don't like. I wouldn't put it past them. Alright, so those are the big main social issues I'm concerned with in regards to Project 2025. But let's do some rapid-fire boring policies that we don't normally think about, but will completely screw everything up if these heritage honkies get their way. Basically, the president is going to have complete unchecked power to do whatever the heck he wants. In case you're wondering, that kind of sounds like a dictatorship. Well, yeah, it's exactly that. The way our system is set up is there's supposed to be 3 branches all acting in unison, keeping checks and balances on each other. Well, this would throw that concept out the damn window, and with this Supreme Court already showing that they're an arm of the executive branch, it's basically an invitation for authoritarianism. Oh, and the Department of Justice, FBI, and CIA would become the president's personal KGB that'll be used to investigate and prosecute anybody he so pleases. I wouldn't want to be Rosie O'Donnell next year if Trump wins. Think our educational system is churning out idiots now? Well, the Department of Education will be pretty much gutted, and all public schools will be turned into state propaganda recruitment schemes. Private schools will still be a thing for rich kids to live in luxury, but the poor kids will be left starving with no lunch programs and forced to recruit in the military just to attend school. Thank God I graduated years ago, but still, I shudder at the thought of the nightmare classrooms kids now would have to go through. Oh, and you might want to let your parents and grandparents know they might be losing all their Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, and any other social programs that keep them afloat, because this is the GOP and being generous just isn't in their DNA, but they love Jesus though, don't worry! And we're going to be paying more taxes than the rich people. Oh wait, we're doing that already. But it's going to get a lot worse if these people win. How y'all enjoying all these record-breaking high temperatures we get year after year? I know I do. Which is why these people want to scale back on all the climate change protections and just fast forward our extinction as a species. Hope you folks in the South have plenty of generators to power your fans after your power grids conk out from all the infrastructure projects these guys are going to put a hammer to. And finally, you want America to be a Christian nationalist nation where you have to follow the rules told to us by people who don't read the Bible and are the ones committing all the sins behind closed doors? As a Catholic, all I can say is, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to inherit the kingdom of heaven. But sure, it's the gays who are the evil ones. So that's pretty much the gist of it. There's a lot more, but I want to just give an overall umbrella of what's in store for us if Donald Trump wins in November. Imagine if all the soccer moms I ranted about back in the day take over our government. That's what we'd be in for. I know politics is a topic that causes people to run away, but they kinda are responsible for almost every aspect of our lives. We kinda have to care a little bit. But when there's a dictatorship at our door, I think that's when we as Americans need to do our part and fight against it. Say what you want about Joe Biden. I have my opinions on him as well, but it's either him or Epstein's ass buddy turning America into his own personal Russia. In case y'all are still skeptical that Trump isn't that insane, need I remind you of what went down before he hightailed it out of the White House last time?
He's got a gun! No, it's about to get dirty, man. It's about to get bad. That officer's got a gun. Get down. I know. Oh, that sounds like...
So please, take this seriously. It's been a crazy 8 years. I'm sure y'all just want things to go back to normal just as much as I do. But nobody said democracy was guaranteed. The generations before us, our families, had to do a lot of fighting to ensure America would survive long enough for us to be guaranteed lives and luxuries we enjoy now. When we become apathetic, ignorant, and even complacent, that's when bad faith aggressors sneak in and screw everything up. We have the power to prevent that. So, do your part in November and vote. Don't even think about voting for a third party, as you're just voting for Trump at that point. If you don't like Joe Biden, think of it as not voting for him, but voting against fascism, against MAGA, and especially against Project 2025. The two sides in this battle aren't Democrats and Republicans. It's the regular, hardworking people like us versus the ivory high tower rich elites who see us as no more than ants in the machine to boost their profits while they pollute our lands, sexually assault our women, and sell us shitty products while they brainwash us into thinking that they're geniuses for having all the money and not nepo babies who know how to cheat the system for their own gain. My grandfather didn't suffer in a Nazi prison during World War II just for America to elect a Mein Kampf reader like Donald Trump to the presidency. As our ancestors before us, let us do our part to ensure America stays a free land for everyone. The gay furry hackers are heroes who helped start this job. Let us, the voters, finish it. I'm Ben, and I'm gonna go pray.